Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Lecture 3 was about introduction to conduction, in which we have discussed the Fourier's law of heat transfer, from where it has come into an existence, and then we discuss about the thermophysical properties of material, and last we have discussed about the heat diffusion equation in a rectangular component system, in cylindrical coordinate system, and in spherical coordinate system. Now in this lecture we are going to apply Fourier's law of heat transfer and heat diffusion equation. In short, we are going to solve problems related to the introduction to conduction. This is chapter 2 of our textbook in Cropra and Davitt. Our first problem is problem 2-5 of our textbook in Cropra and Davitt, and its statement is that assume steady state one-dimensional heat conduction through the symmetric shape shown. Assume there is no internal heat generation. Drive an expression for thermal conductivity K of x for these conditions. A of x is equals to 1 minus x, T of x is equals to 300, 1 minus 2x minus x cube, and Q is equals to 6000 watt, where A is in square meter, T in Kelvin, and K in meters. We have a problem statement in which it is mentioned that there is no internal heat generation and steady state conditions. Heat is transferring only in one direction, which is x, shown in the given figure. This is a trapezoidal shape, and area is changing with respect to x. Area as a function of x is given, and it is 1 minus x. Temperature distribution in the x direction is given, and it is T of x is equals to 300, 1 minus 2x minus x cube. Heat transfer in x direction is constant, which is 6000 watt. We have to develop the expression for thermal conductivity. Here area is changing with respect to x, temperature is changing with respect to x, but Q is constant. And using these condition with steady state condition and no internal heat generation, we have to develop the expression for thermal conductivity. We are going to use Fourier's law of heat transfer, and it simply states that Q is equals to minus Ka dt over dx. Here K is the thermal conductivity of material, A is the area perpendicular to the direction of heat transfer, dt by dx is the temperature gradient in x direction, and Q is the heat transfer. Negative sign in the formula is showing that heat is transferring in negative gradient direction, or simply heat is transferring from higher temperature to the lower temperature. I repeat, negative sign shows that heat transfer occurs from higher temperature to the lower temperature. In problem statement, we have the value of heat transfer, which is 6000 watt. Temperature as a function of x is given, which is 300, 1 minus 2x minus x cube, and area of the trapezoid as a function of x is given, and it is 1 minus x. We can find the value of dt by dx, that is temperature gradient in x direction, and by derivating the temperature with respect to x, we have dt by dx is equal to 300 minus 2 minus 3x square. We have the value of q, we have value of area with in terms of x, and we have temperature gradient in x direction in terms of x. We can put the value of q, a of x, and dt by dx in equation 1, and this equation comes out to be 6000 is equal to minus k into 1 minus x into 300 minus 2 minus 3x square. Here area is 1 minus x, dt by dx is 300 minus 2 minus 3x square. We can rearrange this equation for K, and thermal conductivity of the material comes out to be K is equals to 20 upon 1 minus x 2 plus 3x square. You can solve this equation for K on your notebook, and you will find that thermal conductivity in terms of x comes out to be 20 upon 1 minus x 2 plus 3x square. Now we are moving towards our second problem, which is problem 2-11 of our textbook in Cropra and David, and its statement is: consider steady state condition for one dimensional conduction in a plane wall having a thermal conductivity K is equals to 50 watt per meter Kelvin and a thickness L is equals to 0.25 meter with no internal heat generation. Determine the heat flux, the unknown quantity for each case, and sketch the temperature distribution indicating the direction of the heat flux. We have 5 cases for which in some cases we know the value of T1, we know value of T2, and in some cases we know value for dt by dx. At a time, two values are known. For example, in case 1, value of T1 and T2 is known. For case 3, value of T1 and dt by dx is known, and for case 4, value of T2 and dt by dx is known. At a time, we know two values. We have to find the third quantity, and for each of these cases we have to find the heat flux. The thermal conductivity of the material is shown 50 watt per meter Kelvin. This is the simple schematic of this problem. uh, X is positive in right direction. T1 and 2 are mentioned at the two faces of the wall, and we have to find dt by dx or T1 or T2, or simply we have to find the unknown for each of these three cases. And for all 5 cases we have to find the value of heat flux. Simply given data is this: T1 for first case T1 is 50 degrees centigrade and T2 is minus 20 degrees centigrade. For first case and second case we have to find the value of dt by dx. For third case, T1 and dt by dx is known, so in third case we have to find the value of T2, and in fourth and fifth case value of T2 and dt by dx are known, so we have to find the value of T1 in case 4 and case 5. And for all these 5 cases we have to calculate the amount of heat flux. Length of the material is 0.25 and thermal conductivity is 50 watt per meter Kelvin given in the problem statement. Now we are going to use Fourier's law of heat transfer, and it states that Q double dash is equal to minus K dt by dx. Here Q double dash is the heat transfer per unit perpendicular area. Uh, Heat flux we have discussed in lecture number 3, and we find that heat flux is the heat transfer per unit perpendicular area. Here K is the thermal conductivity of the material and dt by dx is the temperature gradient in x direction. We can write dt by dx is equals to T2 minus T1 over L. It's up to you that either you are taking T1 minus T2 over L or T2 minus T1 over L. It's up to you, but it is recommended to use dt by dx is equal to T2 minus T1 over L. So for by solving this equation, dt by dx is equals to T2 minus T1 over L for each of 5 cases. In first case, dt by dx is unknown, so I put when I am going to solve for case 1, I put the value of T2 is equals to minus 2 and T1 is equals to 50 and L is equals to 0.25. When I solve this for case 1, dt by dx comes out to be minus 280 degree centigrade per meter. Similarly, when I solve for case 2 where T1 is minus 30 degree centigrade and T2 is equals to minus 10 degree centigrade, dt by dx comes out to be 80 degree centigrade per meter. Then for case 3, I have rearranged the equation dt by dx is equals to T2 minus T1 over L for T2, because in case 3 T2 is unknown. So when I rearrange this equation and substitute the value of T1 is equals to 70, dt by dx is equals to 160 and L is equals to 0.25, T2 comes out to be 110 degrees centigrade. Similarly, I have rearranged the equation for T1 and then solve for T1 by substituting the value of T2 is equals to 40 degrees centigrade and minus 80 degrees centigrade per meter for case 4, and T1 comes out to be 60 degrees centigrade. Same for case 5 where T2 is 30 degrees centigrade and dt by dx is equals to 200 degrees centigrade per meter. T1 comes out to be minus 20 degrees centigrade. Now I am going to find the value of heat flux, and heat flux is calculated by using Fourier's law of heat transfer. Q double dash is equals to minus k dt over dx. I have value of thermal conductivity which is given in problem statement, thermal conductivity is 50 watt per meter Kelvin. dt by dx for each of 5 cases are known, and by simply multiplying thermal conductivity by dt by dx, heat flux for each of these 5 cases have been calculated. For first case, heat flux is 14,000 watt per meter Kelvin. For second case, minus 4,000 watt per meter Kelvin. For third case, minus 8,000 watt per meter Kelvin, and for fourth case it is 4,000 watt per meter Kelvin, and for fifth case it is minus 10,000 watt per meter Kelvin. Here in second case, third case and fifth case, a negative sign is indicating that the direction of heat transfer which we have assumed is opposite of the actual heat transfer direction. For example, in case 1, we assume that heat is transferring from T1 to T2, and it is real that T1 is higher than T2. So in actual, heat is transferring from higher temperature to the lower temperature, because T1 is 50 degrees centigrade and T2 is minus 20 degrees centigrade. So the direction of heat flux is according to our assumption. But in second case, we have assumed that heat is transferring from T1 to T2, but in actual T1 is smaller than T2. Minus 30 degrees centigrade is lower temperature than minus 10 degrees centigrade. So our assumption is wrong here, and negative sign is showing in the uh, answer that our assumption was wrong, and in actual heat is transferring from higher temperature to the lower temperature, but in our assumption we assume T1 to be greater than T2, but in second case T1 is lower than T2. That's why negative sign comes in our equation. Same for case 3, same for case 5. Now we are moving towards another problem, which is problem 2-26 of our textbook. At a given instant of time, the temperature distribution within an infinite homogeneous body is given by the function t of x, y, z is equals to x square minus 2y square plus z square minus xy plus 2yz. Assume constant properties and no internal heat generation. Determine the regions where the temperature changes with time. We have temperature distribution in terms of x, y and z, and it is given that T of x y z is x square minus 2y square plus z square minus xy plus 2yz. We have constant properties of a material and there is no internal heat generation within the system. We have to determine that either there are some region where the temperature changes with respect to time or not. We are going to use heat diffusion equation in rectangular component system or in simply xyz system, and we have discussed heat diffusion equation in rectangular component system in our lecture number 3, and it is dawa over dawa x k dawa t over dawa x plus dawa over dawa y k dawa t over dawa y plus dawa over dawa z k dawa t over dawa z plus q dot is equals to rho cp dawa t over dawa t. Here K is the thermal conductivity of the material, Q dot is the internal heat generation, rho is the density, Cp is the specific heat. In problem statement it is mentioned that there is no internal heat generation, so Q dot is equals to 0. Now we have equation dou y square t over dou x square plus dou y square t over dou y square plus dou y square t over dou z square is equals to rho cp dou t over dou t. We have taken the value of k out from each of the brackets in the previous slides because it was mentioned that constant properties of the material. We have equation k dou y square t over dou x square plus dou y square t over dou y square dou y square plus dou y square t over dou y z square is equals to rho cp dou t over dou t. This is the modified form of heat diffusion equation with no internal heat generation and with for constant property of the material. Temperature distribution is given x square minus 2y square plus z square minus minus xy plus 2yz. Now take the double partial derivative of t with respect to x. Same take the double partial derivative of t with respect to y and double partial derivative of t with respect to z. Dou y square t over dou x square comes out to be 2, dou y square t over dou y square comes out to be minus 4, and dou y square t over dou z square comes out to be 2. I hope that you know about partial derivative and you can easily find partial derivative of t with respect to x, partial derivative of t with respect to y, and partial derivative of t with respect to z by substituting the value of dou y square t over dou x square, dou y square t over dou y square and dou y square t over dou z square in the modified form of heat diffusion equation. You have found that dou k 2 minus 4 plus 2 is equals to rho cp dou t over dou t, or dou t over dou t is equal to 0. It means there are no region in which temperature changes with respect to time. In short, this was the steady state temperature distribution. Now we are moving towards another problem, which is problem 2-30 of our textbook, the steady state temperature distribution in one dimensional wall of thermal conductivity 50 watt per meter Kelvin and thickness 50 millimeter is observed to be T of C is equals to A plus B x square, where A is equals to 200 degrees centigrade and B is equals to minus 2000 degrees centigrade per meter square and x is in meter. Part A, what is the heat generation rate in the wall? Part B, determine the heat fluxes at the two walls. In what manner are these heat fluxes related to the heat generation rate? We have temperature distribution given in terms of x, and temperature distribution is only in x direction. uh, Thermal conductivity of the material is given, which is 50 watt per meter Kelvin, and the thickness of the material is 50 millimeter. Temperature distribution in terms of x is a plus b x square, where a is equals to 200 degrees centigrade and b is equals to minus 2000 degrees centigrade per meter. In part A, we have to calculate the heat generation rate in the wall, and in part B, we have to calculate the heat fluxes at the two walls. Now, this is our wall, which is 50 millimeter of thickness. Phase 1 are mentioned that phase 1 is the phase where x is 0, and phase 2 where x is equals to L is equals to 50 millimeter. We have taken x positive in right direction. Using heat diffusion equation, dava over dava x k dava t over dava x plus dava over dava y k dava t over dava y plus dava over dava z k dava t over dava z plus q dot is equals to rho cp dava t over dava t, where k is the thermal conductivity, q dot is the internal heat generation, rho is the density, cp is the specific heat. It is mentioned in the problem statement that the temperature distribution is steady state. It means there is no change of temperature with respect to time. So the right hand side term will be 0. And heat temperature distribution only is in x direction, so heat diffusion equation will be modified into d over dx k dava t over sorry, I am repeating. Heat diffusion equation will be modified into d over dx k dt over dx plus q dot is equals to 0. Since there is no change with respect to time, a steady state problem, temperature is not changing with respect to time, and temperature distribution is only in x direction. It means that temperature is constant in y direction and temperature is constant in z direction. So heat diffusion equation will be modified into d by dx k dt over dx plus q dot is equals to 0. For part A, we have to find the value of heat generation rate in the wall. Since K is constant, by taking K out of the bracket, heat diffusion equation further modified, K d square T over d x square plus Q dot is equals to 0. Now T is equals to A plus B x square. The temperature distribution in x direction is given in the problem statement. A is 200 degrees centigrade and B is equals to minus 2000 degrees centigrade per meter. So temperature distribution comes out to be 200 minus 2000 x square. Taking double derivative of t with respect to x, it comes out to be minus 4000 degrees centigrade per meter square. The double derivative of t with respect to x comes out to be minus 4000. Now we have q dot is equals to minus k d square t over dx square. We have rearranged the value, we have rearranged the equation for heat diffusion equation for q dot. Substitute the value of k is equals to 50 given in the problem statement, and d square t over dx square that we have determined, and it is minus 4000. Solving for q dot, it comes out to be 200,000 watt per meter cube. Now in part B, we have to calculate the heat flux, and heat flux will be calculated using Fourier's law of heat transfer, and it simply states that Q double dash is equals to minus K dt over dx. Q double dash is the heat transfer, heat flux, which is heat transfer per unit perpendicular area. K is the thermal conductivity. Dt over dx is the temperature gradient in x direction. We have a temperature profile in x direction, and it is 200 minus 2000 x square. So we can simply calculate dt by dx is equal to minus 4000 times x, or heat flux comes out to be minus k into minus 4000 times x. At phase 1, where x is 0, you can rewind this equation, this video, and check at phase 1 x is equal to 0. By substituting x is equal to 0 in the equation of heat flux at phase 1 comes out to be 0. At phase 2, where x is equals to 50 millimeter, uh, uh, the heat flux comes out to be minus 50 into minus 4000 into 0.05, and at phase 2 heat flux comes out to be 10,000 watt per meter square. Now we are moving towards our another problem, which is problem 2-31 of our textbook. Its statement is the temperature distribution across a wall 0.3 meter thick at a certain instant of time is T of x is equals to a plus bx plus cx square, where T is in degrees Celsius and x is in meter. A is equals to 200 degrees centigrade and B is equals to minus 200 degrees centigrade per meter, and C is equals to 30 degrees centigrade per meter square. The wall has a thermal conductivity of 1 watt per meter Kelvin. In part A, on a unit surface area basis, determine the rate of heat transfer into and out of the wall and the rate of change of energy stored by the wall. In part B, if the cold surface is exposed to a fluid at 100 degrees centigrade, what is the convection coefficient? In this problem, we have 0.3 meter thick wall, and the temperature distribution across a wall is given a plus bx plus cx square. The temperature is changing with respect to the position, and T is in degrees Celsius and x is in meter. The value of coefficients in temperature distribution are given, and it is mentioned in the statement that A is equals to 200 degrees centigrade, B is equals to minus 200 degrees centigrade per meter, and C is equals to 30 degrees centigrade per meter square. The wall across which the temperature distribution is given has a thermal conductivity of 1 watt per meter Kelvin. In part A, we have to find the rate of heat transfer into and out of the wall and the rate of change of energy stored by the wall. And it is mentioned that consider a unit surface area. And in part B, uh, we have to find the convection coefficient if the cold wall, we don't know which one is the cold wall, but cold surface is exposed to a fluid at 100 degrees centigrade. So we have to find the convection coefficient when the cold wall is exposed to a fluid at 100 degrees centigrade. We have a wall as shown on your screen. The thickness of the wall is 0.3 meter. We have taken x is positive in right direction, Q is entering from left side, and heat is taking out from the right side. It's our convention. You can take uh, heat in from left right side and Q out from right side. I have taken Q in from left side and Q out from right side. Uh, and if there will be a difference between Q in and Q out, the difference will be stored by a wall as energy stored. Now we are using Fourier's law of heat transfer, and it simply states that Q is equals to minus Ka dt over dx, where Q is the heat transfer, K is the thermal conductivity of the material, A is the area perpendicular to the direction of heat transfer, and dt by dx is the temperature gradient in x direction. Q in will be minus Ka dt over dx at x is equals to 0, because we have assumed that heat is entering where x is equals to 0. So the amount of heat transfer at x is equals to 0 will be heat entered into the wall. So for Q in, uh, Q in is equals to minus Ka dt over dx. K is the thermal conductivity given in the problem statement, around 1 watt per meter Kelvin, and it is mentioned that unit surface area, so it means A is equal to 1. We have temperature distribution, so we have to find dt over dx. Similarly for Q out is the heat transfer at x is equal to L. So Q out is equal to minus Ka dt over dx at x is equal to L. We know the value of K and A, and both values are given in the problem statement. So we have to find the value of dt over dx at x is equals to 0 and x is equal to L. The temperature distribution across the wall is A plus bx plus cx square, and the coefficients of this equation are given in the problem statement. So by substituting the values of these coefficient, temperature distribution in terms of x comes out to be 200 minus 200x plus 30x square. Take the derivative of t with respect to x, and it comes out to be minus 200 plus 60x. For Q in is equals to minus K A dt over dx at x is equal to 0. Substitute the value of K equal to 1, A is equals to 1, and dt over dx at x is equals to 0. You will find the value of Q in, and Q in comes out to be minus 1 into 1 into minus 200 plus 60 into 0. Q in is simply 200 watt. Now we are going to solve for Q out, where we will put the value of x is equal to L, because Q out is taking place at x is equal to L. So Q out is equal to minus Ka dt over dx at x is equal to L. K is 1 watt per meter Kelvin, area is 1, given in the problem statement. Unit surface area, put the value of x is equals to L is equal to 0.3. So Q out comes out to be 182 watt. We have find the value of Q in and Q out. Now we have to find the value of energy stored within the wall. The difference between Q in and Q out will be the amount of energy stored within the wall. So simply E stored is equal to Q in minus Q out. It is logical that 200 watt of heat is entering in the uh, wall, and 182 watt of heat is going out from the wall. So the difference between Q in and Q out will be the amount of energy stored within the wall, and it comes out to be 18 watt. uh, the wall is storing 18 watt of energy. Out of 200 watt of energy, 18 watt of energy is stored by the wall, and 182 watt of energy sends out from the wall. Now we are going to find the temperature at both sides, because in part B we have to calculate the convection coefficient, and it was mentioned in the problem statement that colder side is facing the fluid, but we don't know which side is cold. So first we have to find the temperature at both sides at x is equals to 0 and x is equals to L. Temperature distribution is given in terms of x, so we can easily find the value of temperature at any position for side 1 where x is equals to 0. Temperature comes out to be 200 degrees centigrade, and for side 2 where x is equals to 0.3, temperature comes out to be 142.7 degrees centigrade. So by comparing these sides we can easily tell that second side, which is x is equals to 0.3, is colder side, and uh, this side is adjacent to the fluid having temperature of 100 degrees centigrade. So the amount of heat goes out from the system is basically the amount of heat gained by the fluid. I am repeating that colder side is a side from where heat goes out from the wall, and the amount of heat goes out from the wall will be the amount of heat gained by the fluid. So by using Newton's law of cooling, because heat gained by the fluid can be determined by Newton's law of cooling, and it's simply Q is equals to HATS minus T infinity. The amount of heat gained by the fluid is simply the amount of heat goes out from the wall. H is the convection coefficient, A is the uh, area perpendicular to the direction of heat transfer, T infinity is the temperature of the fluid, and given in the problem statement that T infinity is equal to 100 degrees centigrade, and the surface which is facing the fluid is at a temperature of 142.7 degrees centigrade, so Ts is equal to 142.7 degrees centigrade. By rearranging this equation for H, it comes out to be 182 upon 1 multiplied by 142.7 minus 100, and convection coefficient comes out to be 4.27 watt per meter square Kelvin. Now this is enough for lecture number 4. Practice this problem on your notebook, and if you have any query regarding any of the problem, you can ask in live session. Thank you.